Uya unisunge. Uya unisunge. Ndiri wa chaka ini. Ndiri wa chaka. 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 Sekuru amuka. Sekuru amuka. Wana putikese.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Bars or Belinda Dirt's channel. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload videos, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovelies, I'm gonna be your today's host, and I have so many stitches to put up here, and we're gonna come out to talk about it. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video.
So wait, am I the only one who's finding this whole Kubala kingdom malarkey extremely unsettling? Particularly for this young girl who was thousands and thousands of miles away from home. Now, I went digging and I found some startling details about their past, specifically the king and the queen. Now, the queen has had several and multiple of her children taken away from her by the British social services. And the king was actually an aspiring opera singer, but that didn't work out for him. My biggest concern here is that are they using this young girl to reproduce children into this tribe? Because mind you, because of the social services, the queen would not be able to give birth and have access or keep a hold of the children that she brings forth. However, if this young girl is to conceive and bring forth a child, the queen could actually assume motherly duties to that child. This is an absolute mess, and I don't quite understand how the Scottish government is allowing this to persist.
I just want to remind you that you are single and this man has 2 girls. You are single and this man has 2 girls. You're working 40, 50 hours a week, taking girls to Nando's, Vapiano's, whilst these girls are living with him in some tents in the Scottish forest. And you're single. Matter of fact, they even give him food. How about that? The dating scene makes no sense. Forget what you learned, bro. Just focus on yourself, innit?
Chaka, sekuru amuka. Wana putikese, wana zvifesi zvavo, varatidze, zvine utsinye, zvinotora vana, zvichichengeta vana. Zvivarungu zvine utsinye, kutora vana. Munomuziva Chaka ini, munoziva zvaanodya here ini. Manje ngozi yamuka ngozi, yamuka. Uri murukudai, uri murukudai, usatye.
Identity crisis is not a joke. What the heck is this? These are people living in Scotland, in the wilderness, claiming that they're the real Scots. That the people that live in Scotland today are thieves and stuff like that, and they had a kingdom in Scotland centuries ago, and it was called Kubala, and they're trying to reestablish it. These people are from Southern Africa, the same region I'm from, so this is embarrassing as hell. They're not from my country though, thank God, but still, that's just embarrassing. What is this, man? Huh? Luckily, they've been evicted by the Scots, because this is crazy. Like, what are you doing? You're coming to our land and you're claiming some nonsense, some fantasy. I don't know if this is rage bait. I don't know if they're doing this as a joke, as comedy, but they've gone into the streets claiming Kubala and all that stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? This is why I make African history content. You need to get in touch with real African history. If you're African or from the diaspora, get in touch with real history, because it's better than all this fantasy that people are making up. Man, talking about the Moors. The Moors existed, yes, but have a balance. The Moors colonized the Iberian Peninsula predominantly. They didn't go into all of Europe and rule all of Europe or the whole planet. That's insane, bro. They ruled the Iberian Peninsula, and Moors were Berbers, Arabs, and some West Africans, predominantly Berbers. That's the facts of history. Yeah, you get over that. Focus on the history from the continent. Yes, we have history in other regions of the world as well, because our ancestors moved around. True, but not like that. How can you claim you're the real Scots when... I'm sorry. It is bizarre. That is crazy. Avoid cults like this, please. Yeah? Research your history, research your ancestral line. I'm pretty sure people can tell you. Me, I found out about 17th century ancestor, a direct ancestor of mine. I'm proud. I know who I am. These people should know who they are. They're Southern Africans, yeah? No excuse. Some people in the diaspora as well, you can research your heritage. And or the whole continent is part of your heritage too. Research it and learn about that. Don't make no fantasies like this up, claiming to be the real Scots. That kind of oh my god, that is. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but it's not funny, man. That's crazy. That is insane. God help these people. If they're serious, please get help. Get mental help. If you're not serious, then I don't know why you did this. I mean, it's funny, but you're getting traction because I'm reacting to you. But yo, that's just making us look bad, man. You look like we've got no history, and when we do, don't do that, bro. Don't do that, okay? Embarrassing your own heritage, your own culture. Don't do that. That's sad.
It's Lady Safi, real name Aaliyah Johnson, who left the US, but she's a citizen at 18 or 19 to join the kingdom of Kabbalah, where she was promised a life of royalty, but the truth was far darker. She was entering a cult. Now, when Lady Safi entered the kingdom of Kubala, she was made to be Kofi's second wife. The first wife, Jean, made it pretty clear to her that she was the queen and that Safi was just the handmaiden. Safi was drawn into the cult's rituals, led by the king and queen. They promised her a luxurious life, when in reality, she was being controlled. Now, during her time, it was thought that Lady Safi was pregnant, but Jean confronted her in front of Kofi and exposed it as a lie. Safi eventually left the UK to head back to the US, where she suffered with her mental health and was eventually struck by a car and a bus and did not survive. Now, this so-called queen has gone on her platforms to state that the reason for Safi's death is because the king of Kabbalah put a curse on her because she did not obey him. This is something that her family has rejected, and rightly so. They have already stated that Safi did indeed suffer with mental health. And what I find more disturbing is the fact that this cult actually were recruiting online for a new wife for Kofi. There was actually an application process. Single mothers pay a fee of £500 to be considered for a date and to spend the weekend with him. No intimacy. And if you have no children, you pay a fee of £350 to be considered for a date. If you are a virgin, however, you get this free, but this must be medically tested and proven. No intimacy. £350 to £500 for a date with him, or to be considered for one anyway. But no, Jean, Lady Safi wasn't cursed. She was groomed and manipulated by you and your husband. Your husband that claimed to be a property manager, when in reality he was subletting Airbnbs, and this is the same person that wants us to believe he is the descendant of the King of David. But I would just like to say, rest in peace to this absolutely beautiful girl, and I really do hope that you are at peace now.
Kubala, Kubala.
Ilizwe.
Kubala, Kubala.
Ilizwe.
Kubala, Kubala.
Ilizwe
Ziona.
is here.
Many people around the world are coming for the Feast of the Tabernacles.
Yes, my Lord.
Many people from all the four corners of the earth are coming back to their borders to observe the first Feast of the Tabernacles after 400 years.
The very first to be held in Kubala.
Very well. For over 400 years, as not. The chosen ones have been in captivity. These chosen ones are the people who were in Great Britain 400 years ago.
Yes, my Lord.
And now they are returning up to the kingdom of Kubala. And some people, the enemies, those who took the land from our forefathers, think in their minds that they are able to stop this prophecy.
Yes. I think that's why they've arrested us how many times now? Over 12 times we've been arrested in a space of 3 years.
They want to kill the two witnesses of the Creator. But no one can kill the two witnesses. No.
It's not possible.
For it is written, nations shall come together to fight the two witnesses. Nandi, you see online, the people from America, the people
Egypt.
from Egypt, the people from Zimbabwe, the people
Moabites. Zimbabweans are Moabites.
from Esau, the Edomites, all joined forces to
They are
fight.
all one now. Yes.
the
Moab,
kingdom.
Esau, and Egypt.
For it is not written
It's written.
that the kingdom shall stand as a mustard seed. Daniel spoke about the kingdom. You read it, but you cannot see. Yeshua Christ himself spoke about the kingdom and gave a parable that when the kingdom of Yahweh comes, it shall be as small as a mustard seed. And the seed of David shall reign over the kingdom of Kubala.
Speak, my Lord.
And the nations who are coming, they are strong. They are not afraid of guns. The people who are coming. No. Look at us now. Whatever they have done to her, they can destroy her.
Yes. She survived.
You don't know Kubala. You don't know.
Our gods.
We are not afraid of guns. We are not afraid of tasers. For the power in our hands, the day we shall begin. Oh, Esau. Esau. Hey.
Moab.
The day we shall set on the road, you will see the true power of the heavens and the earth.
Of the Moors, of the Jacobites, of the native Highlanders.
Are you not afraid of the Hebrews?
They have no fear of God. They have no fear of the Creator.
They think they've already won.
Yeah.
We shall see the reason why the Creator brought us to the highlands. We shall see what will become of Esau. Asna, do not be afraid. I am with you. Nandi, do not be afraid, for I am with you. No one can be able to destroy the seed of Kubala. And they are all saying they are waiting for Jesus.
Yeah.
Nandi,
Yes, my King.
the Christians say they are waiting for Jesus to come.
In the skies. And apparently the two witnesses are Elijah and Moses. They want them to come back. And they say the two witnesses can never be in this generation. It's impossible.
Do they even know the face of Elijah and Moses?
Don't get them arrested. Don't section them. Don't get them in a mental hospital.
They'll try to say you need resources. You need to go to the council. The food bank. Okay, no. Elijah and Moses are not coming back until the Millennium Kingdom.
Now the kingdom of Kubala has come. The Creator has only selected a few men from all the four corners of the earth. And these are the chosen ones, the saints who are coming. And no one will be able to destroy the kingdom of Kubala.
Yes, my Lord.
We shall come and destroy you, Esau. We shall come and destroy you, Moab.
Let's talk about this bizarre situation unfolding in Scotland, because honestly it's one of the strangest cases of identity confusion, cult behavior and outright manipulation I have seen in a while. We are dealing with a group of people from Southern Africa, the same region I'm from, who decided to move into the wilderness of Scotland, set up tents and declare themselves the real Scots. Yes, you heard that right. Not descendant of Scots, not immigrants who love Scottish culture, but literally claiming that the people living in Scotland today are impostors, thieves, and occupiers of their supposed ancestral land. They even went so far as to declare their so-called kingdom called Kurana, reviving a fantasy history that never existed in Scotland. Now, I need to pause here and ask what that drives a group of people, Africans, to abandon their very real and very rich history only to cosplay as Scots in a foreign land. Is this delusion? Is it a cost structure in disguise, or is it a cry for identity in a world where so many black people, whether on the continent or in the diaspora, feel rootless and disconnected? Because while it might seem laughable at first glance, there is something deeply sad about this. Identity crisis is not a joke. For people to go this far means something is broken inside. And it doesn't just stop at claiming Scottishness, it spirals into dangerous Scots behavior, manipulation, and even exploitation of vulnerable people. Let's focus on the case of Lady Safi. When she entered what they call the kingdom of Kabbalah, she wasn't welcomed as an equal. She was meant to be Kofi's second wife. His first wife, Jane, immediately put her in her place, calling herself the queen while reducing Safi to a glorified handmaid. That power dynamic was intentional. It wasn't about love or family or community. It was about control. Safi got caught up in their so-called rituals. They promised her luxury, purpose, belonging, but in reality, she was being trapped. At one point, rumors spread that she was pregnant, but when Jane confronted her in front of Kofi, it was exposed as a lie. Imagine the humiliation. The psychological manipulation. Safi eventually left the UK and returned to the United States, but by then, her mental health had deteriorated badly. Tragically, she was struck by both a car and a bus and did not survive. Now, here is where it gets even darker. After her death, this self-proclaimed queen had the audacity to go online and claim that Safi died because Kofa had cursed her for disobedience. A curse, that is the explanation they put out publicly. Why Safi's family, in their grief, had to remind the world that Safi struggled with mental health, and this death was not some magical retribution, it was a strategy. What's even more disturbing in this business model behind this so-called kingdom, they wasn't just luring vulnerable women through Christmas. They had a literal application process. Single mothers had to pay $500 just to be considered for a weekend date with Kofi. No intimacy included, allegedly. Women without children, €350. Virgins, well, that was free, but only if you submitted to a medical test to prove your virginity. This is not cultural revival, this is a spirituality. This is predatory. And here's where my alarm bell starts ringing. The so-called queen has had multiple children taken away by British social services. Why? Because she was deemed unfit. That is not speculation, it's documented. And the king, he was once an aspiring opera singer whose career didn't pan out, so they reinvented themselves as loyalties, creating a cult around themselves. Now think about it, if the queen can't legally raise her own children, what is the next best way for her to get access to kids? Bring in your young women like Safi. Encourage them to have children so that the queen can step in and claim maternal duties. That is reproductive exploitation, plain and simple. And it makes me wonder, how on earth are the Scottish authorities allowing this to persist? These people were literally setting up tents, declaring sovereignty, recruiting women and charging fees. In most countries that would be shut down instantly, yet somehow they were able to operate in Scotland until they were finally evicted by locals, and thank God for that, because this kind of fantasy kingdom is not just embarrassing, it's dangerous. Let's talk about the bigger picture. This whole fiasco exposes something we need to discuss openly: the desperation for identity among some Africans and African descendants. I get it, colonialism robbed us of names, cultures, languages, and in many cases, our sense of belonging. But the answer is not investing false history or attaching ourselves to random foreign identities. The answer is to study and embrace our real history because it is already more than enough. Look at the Mons, for example. Yes, they existed. Yes, they colonized the Iberian Peninsula, but they didn't conquer the whole of Europe, let alone the entire planet. They wasn't hidden rulers of Scotland, they wasn't secret overlords of the globe. The Moors were predominantly Berbers mixed with Arabs and to some extent West Africans. That's factual history. But what we are seeing today is people twisting that history into delusional fantasy. And once that fantasy sets in, is a slippery slope into courts like this one. This is why I always say, research your ancestry, learn about your 7th century forebears, your kingdoms, your migrations, celebrate that because if you don't, you will leave yourself vulnerable to predators who will tell you, forget Africa, forget your actual lineage, you are not Africa, you are the real Scots, you are the lost European loyalties. Follow me, pay me, obey me, and once you believe that, you are trapped. Think about the shame this brings to. As an African, I can tell you it's embarrassing to see South Africans standing in Scotland claiming to be the true native of these highlands. It makes us look like we don't have history of our own, when in fact we do. Africa is home to some of the oldest civilization on earth. Nubia, Mali, Sohe, Great Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Benin. Why abandon that richness to cosplay as something you are not? And then there's the manipulation of outsiders. Safi wasn't Scottish, she wasn't Southern Africa, she was an American drawn in by the law alloy of belonging, spirituality, and a so-called loyal family. But instead of finding community, she found exploitation. Instead of healing, she found humiliation. And ultimately, she lost her life. That is the human cause of this nonsense. So what do we do about this? First, we have to call it out for what it is, a cult. Not a cultural revival, not an experiment in sovereignty. A cult builds on lies, manipulation, and exploitation. Second, we have to educate ourselves and others about real African history because once you are grounded in truth, these fantasy lose their power. Third, authorities in places like Scotland need to take this seriously. You can't just let people build a fake kingdom in your wilderness, recruit women online, charge application fees, and carry out rituals. That is not harmless roleplay. That is organized exploitation. And lastly, to my brothers and sisters on the continent and in the diaspora, I say this with love. Don't trade your true identity for a fake one. You don't need to be the real Scot or the hidden European king or the lost tribe to have words. Your heritage as an African is already vast, powerful, and dignified. You don't need a fantasy. This kingdom of caliber now nonsense is a symptom of deeply wounds. But if we deal with those wounds honestly by reclaiming your history, not rewriting it, then we won't fall for these traps. Because the saddest part isn't that a group or set of tents in Scotland. The saddest part is that a young woman lost her life while caught up in their lies. And if we don't learn from this, it won't be the last strategy.
And if you watch up to this extent, don't forget to please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, why not just share your thought? Subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.